So we are here with Titleist wedge guy, Aaron Dill. He is, I will say it, I know he probably won't say it, probably one of the busiest guys in golf, especially this time of year. How often are you finding, just in general, how often are players changing out wedges just to make sure they have the maximum amount of spin they're gonna need?
That's a great question. I would say in a lob wedge space, so 58 through 62, you're looking at every 6 weeks. Is a pretty good time. I think players start questioning whether or not they have the right amount of spin. At that much loft, you don't get a lot of friction between the ball and the face. So you see the ball go up and it's a little shorter and it spins less visually. If you look at the stronger lofts, say 46 or 52, those can be played for a long time. You know, Justin Thomas, if we let him, he'll play him for 2 years, you know, without all the damage. So, you know, you're constantly monitoring those things. It's not like we change them out all the time, the whole set. It's just making sure that spin management is taking place throughout the bag. But again, it's case by case. Like Brian Harmon, he switched to the new 60L in SM10. We did some great testing together on Tuesday night, and he just couldn't miss. It was so cool. So he switched to that this week. Justin Thomas is trying a bit of a hybrid wedge in between the K-Star, which is that wider version with the heel toe, trailing edge, and then the pre-wear with an A+. So imagine an A+ with the features that are on the K-Star, which is kind of a cool combination. Both are relatively versatile, right? The differences between the two, and the reason why he switches, is the tee is just the low bounce option, right? If it's firm and dry, the tee's gonna give him everything he wants. He can set it down, open it up, it still looks awesome, and he has the confidence to get under the ball easily, creating height, but it also is a nice low launcher, whereas the K is a little bit wider, and that's the wedge where he says it's a little softer, there's more sand than I like, I'm not quite comfortable in a couple different places. That's gonna free him up to swing and have the confidence he needs. When they both don't work, and he's thinking, I need trajectory, I need some help in the bunkers, and I'm not quite getting both of those things from this, and I'm not getting it from this, we can blend things together and find a sweet spot that allows him to have the best of both worlds. So we have hundreds of heads on this van a week. When you're asking these difficult questions with guys like, hey, what are you experiencing? They don't quite have a great way to articulate what they're feeling. They just have simple verbiage like, it feels sticky, it's digging, you know, simple things like that. And so as I'm working with Justin and he's telling me these things, I'm just thinking over periods of time of working with him what these words mean. And to me, it was all about this bounce angle, right? How do we add this element, which is increasing forgiveness, but still giving him some of the key features that he loves about versatility?
Do you want to give us a little tour of like how you would go through the process of like building a golf club?
Yeah, so, you know, we're gonna have all of our head options, GT3 or GT2, and 8, 9, 10, 11 degree lofts. More spin, less spin, be able to prep a shaft for them, get everything cut exactly to length, get a grip put on for them, and get them out the door to the practice facility.
What shaft is that? I know, I recognize this thing. I got one of these. Oh, that's one of my favorites. So Titleist had the 905S and the 905T. These were the precursors to the original 460cc 905R. I was an S fan. I actually played this exact head, not with this shaft. This is a little much for me, but it was like one of the original like deep face, low spin drivers. Came off of the 983E, which was also the K. So like K moved to the T, E moved to the S. I don't know how you guys picked those letters out, but this was, again, really classic shape before obviously you had any of the adjustability, which if you think about it, makes these guys' jobs so much easier, because it used to be if a player didn't like a club head or they didn't like the shaft, well, now it was this head feels good, the shaft feels different, we need to like tweak something, whereas now we had to pull the whole thing apart or we build right from scratch, whereas now it's like, let's try a different shaft, and you go right into the club head again, makes it so much easier. And when we compare a classic profile from a Titleist wood to the new GT280, which is their mini driver, think about the way they are shaped, right? Heel to toe, not too much different. Obviously 400 cc's versus 280 cc's, you're gonna get that in the face depth. And then also from a sole profile perspective, here, that transition from the face to the leading edge is pretty sharp. We don't see that with modern drivers as much, but you get that with the GT, the 280. Similar, where you have this sharper angle because it really helps players who are going to hit it off the deck. It is a little bit more versatile than some of the other options out there, just because players are more often going to use it off the deck. So So we're here with Drew, the Scotty Cameron rep, out on tour for Titleist, and this is kind of your work area. Can you show us around what you got kicking around when it comes to putting putters together?
Yeah, this is a cool area of the truck, definitely. You know, we got everything lined up similar to the other areas of the truck. We got all our different shafts in here that we use that are Scotty Cameron shafts plus graphite shafts that are other companies as well. So we have stepless, stepped, and then as we go up, different tip diameters as well. And then on the opposite side, PVD for black finish, so labeled on this side. So we have PVDs on one side and silver on the other. And then as we work our way back to double bends and single bends and graphite back here, where you get like a Scotty Cameron UST graphite shaft there. We have a lot of guys that play Super Stroke and other grips. So we have Super Stroke drawer. We have a lot of grips for Scotty grips that are custom shop ones and kind of proprietary ones that Scotty makes for tour. We have other guys like Tom Kim that keep his custom grips in here in his own little area, and then the drawer that everybody wants to see for sure. The head cover drawer. This is always one of the best areas that players like to come in and see and rifle through and say, hey, just maybe some more mojo or something new for the week. Cameron Young was in here yesterday, and he just opened it up and he was just like, man, which one do I not have? And then he came and he says, actually, I have everything in there. So ended up just sticking with what he had, but the blades on this side and then the mid mallets that would fit like a Golo style putter on the right. And then as you get down to we have another drawer for all like the phantom stuff there. That gives me joy right there, that it's all aligned based on color and size. And this section is something pretty cool as well, that we keep some head only stock for guys, some one-off stuff or some older models that occasionally we'll get a guy that wants to revisit an old feel. For instance, this one's a carbon 009 head. So something that isn't in our line all the time, but there's definitely guys that play that still. So we keep something like this on here. It's labeled 350 carbon head. So we keep some cool little knickknacks here for guys that occasionally want to revisit old product that they either used to play or something that's not in line. Another great one, something like this. Old Trillium head. And this one has a long neck on there, so we have a couple guys that play long necks, so we keep stuff like this on there for those guys when they want to have a different feel off the face. So we keep stuff like that.
For special occasions, the bottom drawer.
Definitely. But we also try and hide that, so they don't know too much about where it is.
Yeah.
This is all stock product for overflow. We have the bags over there that we always put around the green, and then this is all backup stuff to that. So when one order goes out, it's replaced by something in here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tight inventory when you got a small space to work in.
Exactly.
Cool. Thanks for showing us around.
Yeah.